Alright guys, Big Dude and Hot Food here, and we've got something a little bit different for spooky season. I'm going to review the movie Weapons. This is one of my favorite new horror movies. It was very fun to watch in the theater. This movie is one of those kind of movies that some people went in thinking it was going to be a little bit different than it was. And I think that it was exactly what I was expecting, but I don't think maybe everyone expected the same exact thing, because there's a very nice blending of like comedy, black comedy, and just like dramatic beats. And it's very interesting how he can compare it to like a lot of different things. He leaves it mostly open-ended. Zach Cregger, if you guys aren't aware, he started with The Whitest Kids You Know, the comedy sketch group. And he's been doing stuff since then. He did Barbarian, was his first horror movie, which I liked as well. But I really enjoyed Weapons a lot more because I think he did the things that worked very well in Barbarian, even more so in Weapons. And it was just like an interesting, setup, different kind of just mysterious. And I tried to go in with a little bit of backstory to it. But I would say that if you are going to watch the movie, I would watch it first. Because I'm definitely going to get into spoiler territory with this. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to try some spicy snacks while we review the movie. I saw it in the theater originally, and I was very impressed by it. Barbarian was one of those kind of movies you don't expect, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I was going to watch it, I'd seen ads for it, but until there was an actual trailer that popped up for me with Justin Long's bit in that, and I didn't realize there were multiple story threads going on. And Zach Cregger does continue that multiple story thread line, even more so with Weapons, where it's more like Magnolia, where the different stories intersect with each other, and you see different perspectives to things happening. They actually blended kind of allegorical stuff and horror stuff with more just like your regular supernatural horror beats. Really interesting, the mystery of where did all these kids go? They all disappeared in the middle of the night. No one took them. They ran out of their own accord like they were possessed by a Naruto ghost.
When a classroom of children get possessed by the ghost of Naruto.
I thought that was interesting to make it kind of like their homing missiles too, is sort of what that is the main thing that they're implying with that, I think. And that they're just like mindlessly doing it kind of thing. So let's just get into it. I'm going to start with something a little bit less hot, and then we're going to ratchet our way up. I thought this one would be a good one to start with. Makana. And I haven't had these before. This was a Dollar Tree acquisition. Crunchy coated air fried peanuts. Supposed to be kind of spicy. Okay, roasted red chili pepper seasoned chilies. Let's see if it actually has any spice. It definitely said it had some stuff in it. Like, I think it had chili pepper. I don't know. I'm not seeing actual chili pepper in it. So we'll see. I don't know what it actually tastes. It just says spices. So whatever that means. Let's break into this one. All right. So they just look like coated crunchy peanuts. Let's give them a taste. There's some spice in there. Something. Not bad. Like, it's got a nice flavor to it. Usually these roasted peanuts do. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up peanuts, but the crunchiness I really like when they do that too, though. The like shell it has. Really enjoyed the movie. If you're not aware, it stars Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, and one of the main characters. The main people that I know about would be Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, and Benedict Wong. Alden Ehrenreich, or however you say his last name, I hadn't really seen him much, but he's a good actor as well. Amy Madigan plays the villain. She is very spooky in it, and she freaks me out the whole time. What I would say is like just the setup to the movie is interesting. Weapons starts, and especially when you see it in the theater, it starts off on a black screen, and it's just a narration setting up that you probably heard in the trailers if you've seen them.
Mrs. Gandy's room is totally empty because the night before at 2:17.
It's a nice way to kind of start it where you have New Line Cinema and then Domain, and then it goes to black. And then it's narration, setting it up, and then we cut to the school where the kids have disappeared from, but they haven't found that out yet. So it's just that day for going in, and it's not the normal day. And the kids are gone except for the one kid left, Alex. And there's something spooky about this kid that we find out as the story goes on. The way they kind of lead in, because in the intro, it's just like the screaming and drums, jungle drums or something like Lord of the Flies-esque, and it's just in black, and then the narration comes up. So really nice way to start to kind of show you that maybe this won't be your typical narration structure of a movie, which I think if you go in not knowing that it's intersecting stories, that might have been what threw some people off. So thinking that much spice. Let me get another taste of the Makana peanuts. Or is it Makana? Yeah, it must be Makana. Give the Makana these. I'm gonna give these about a 1 to 2 on the spice scale, because it's kind of growing on itself, but it's got a nice kind of peppery like flavor to it. It's not bad. I think it'd go well with watching the movie again, which it's definitely going to become one of the movies that's in my yearly lineup that I'm going to rewatch every year. So Justine, Julia Garner's character, is a teacher that really means well, but it seems like she gets maybe a little bit too involved with her students, or more involved than like what parents are necessarily comfortable with. And she has good intentions the whole time, nothing nefarious about her, but she has got like a checkered past where she's an alcoholic, and she had a previous relationship with one of the deputies in town. They like dated before. So you're kind of seeing that she doesn't know what's happening. She comes in, the kids are gone. Alex is the only one there. She has no clue. There's no inkling of any of this stuff beforehand. She's just like, what do I do? And then everyone starts turning on her immediately.
She's gonna be locked up until she tells us what happened.
And she retreats right into alcoholism. And you can see immediately that her confusion and dealing with these really stressful and like difficult times, they say, hey, you probably shouldn't be at school right now. We're gonna still pay you, but you need to take a hiatus just while this cools down. And she really retreats into alcohol then. That sets up a lot of her conflict, is her falling back into her addiction. Zach Cregger wrote this movie when he was dealing with grief and loss of his friend dying suddenly. If anyone's dealt with loss, you can kind of see where they're coming from with that. I think it's interesting that they show how like she's trying, she's really trying, but it's just she can't get it done. And since she can't be a teacher anymore, she doesn't have something to fall back on. She's falling back into her old ways and her old addictions and stuff. So really great performance by Julia Garner here, especially during the very like scary scenes where she's being chased and having to fight the different possessed people and stuff like that. Like I would say Justine and Archer are kind of like the main characters, the protagonists, sort of. So Josh Brolin, his kid is one of the kids that goes missing. Archer is the name of his character, and his son is like the bully, and bullies the only kid that's left, Alex, a lot. He doesn't know what to do because he has to be useful. And when his son is gone, he can't be useful trying to find him. He starts screwing up with everything else. You can see that it really throws him off at work. He's missing orders. He's messing up orders. He's not ordering the right thing, you know. It's just like a whole thing where everything's falling apart, and all because he is missing his child, and he can't deal with the fact that he's just gone and no one knows why.
I see something that I don't understand at all.
He's trying to figure it out. So he starts piecing together the story himself, since no one can actually find it. And I think find out what's happening. I think part of that too is the cops are restrained by law. They can only do so much. And him going out like a vigilante and starting to like figure out the mystery works a lot better because they're not restrained like cops are restrained to do things by the book. So when they put up a front and they can't figure out what's actually happening, it's harder to hide that. Let's dig into this jalapeno honey beef jerky from Buc-ee's. I'm finally opening it. I kind of almost forgot that I even had it. I had the ghost pepper one last time, and that was extremely hot. This one, I'm hoping still has some heat, but I'm guessing it'll probably be a little bit hotter than Makana because it's jalapeno. But yeah, it has straight up jalapeno flakes in it, so it should have a fair amount of heat and flavor. Let's give it a shot. Ooh, yeah, it's a nice smell out of that. Definitely has that jalapeno smell to it. Sweetness, definitely sweetness. Smells kind of like barbecue, honestly. Well, let's see what it tastes like, though. Yeah, nice big chunks. Very tasty, very, very good flavor. Has a barbecue smell to it. I think just because like of all the ingredients combined, but it definitely tastes like jalapeno honey flavoring to it. You got a nice kind of kick, and you can definitely taste the jalapeno. I think there's even little pieces of it, because when I chewed some of it up, I definitely felt an explosion of spice. So good job, Buc-ee's. I'm gonna give this one like a 3, honestly. Need another bite of it, but I'm thinking 3 on this one, man. That's low. Let me get this one a little bit better. There we go. I love this scene where Archer wakes up from his nightmare of thinking he sees his kid, and it's actually Gladys right there in the bed, and he hasn't met her yet at this point, and he just wakes up like, what the? And that becomes ad-lib throughout. That seems to be said by a lot of different people, but that was actually ad-libbed by him, and it just goes to show like comedic timing coming through as well. That's like exactly what everyone was thinking, I think, in the theater, and I heard people laughing throughout the movie, so I think a lot of the comedic elements and the black comedy and stuff definitely hit. And at the end, there's a point where Archer's fighting like the possessed people, and they won't go down. He's just like, what? He says the same thing again, like, what the? Why won't, what is going on here? This is crazy. I want to talk about Paul, the deputy. He's one of the most annoying characters, I think, in this entire movie. He seems like a complete moron, and I think that's the point. I mean, I think he played it really well. I don't think that's how the actor is in real life, my guess would be. But he played it really well, so you're like, wow, this guy is such an idiot. I mean, he unplugs his camera after he punches junkie in the head. He freaks out when this junkie accidentally injures him, and just a bunch of other stupid things like that. He was the one who Justine used to have a relationship with, and she starts falling back into alcoholism. Texts him, and they meet up and they get back together, and he tells her that he's actually like single, even though he's not. And so she gets attacked by the wife later on, but this guy has the worst poker face when he's lying to his wife. She comes to him and calls him out immediately on him having gone out drinking or going out with someone, and he can't like at all straight face like at all. Then she knows immediately. So that's the scene you see where she comes and attacks Justine right after that. And you can see every time he messes up or has an argument with his wife, he lashes out in a certain way, like he had an argument. He goes back after the junkie. He's one of the funniest characters of the whole movie. He's definitely the comedic relief. And at first, he's just like this guy, he's just trying to get high as much as he can and get his fix or whatever, get his junkie fix. He sees, hey, there's a reward for these kids that are missing. So he starts actually investigating that. As he's investigating, he starts putting pieces together, and he actually he finds them in the house when he goes in to steal stuff, and he's just like, what is going on? No one's moving. And then they move suddenly, and he runs out of there, and he just doesn't get what's happening. It's really weird. He actually is coming to talk to them when Paul sees him and goes after him after he's angry with his wife. They intersect again, and he's like, okay, let's go check it out. And that's when they both get captured. That's when they get possessed and they become part of the army. But I think he's a great comedic relief throughout, because you have Paul, who's super duper serious and like he goes off the handle, and then you have this really funny guy. Really interesting balance, and character is great. It's too bad that he doesn't actually have more screen time than he does. I thought he was interesting. Paul, I don't like at all, but I think that's kind of the point, so good job there. Yeah, and I love that Toby Huss is actually the police chief. He's great in it, and I love him from King of the Hill and different roles that he's been in. Cool to see him in stuff recently. I saw him in Chad Powers as well recently. I think he plays his father. Let's move on. James, hilarious character. I think the what the F ad-lib kind of catchphrase, but it's kind of like their what's happening that Always Sunny has in every single episode.
What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? What's happening? What's happening?
So it seems like almost every scene there's a what the F moment, which is really great. And you get introduced to Gladys, who's the one who's pulling all the strings and actually the one who's responsible for the disappearances. Very, very creepy character. At first you see she's really sickly and dying, and then as she starts possessing people, she starts gathering their strength and sucking the life out. She's literally a parasitic witch, essentially. It's kind of implied that she could be alive for very long time, who knows how long, because she's been performing this ritual where she possesses people and feeds off their life force.
It's not serious, nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
A touch of consumption?
People turning catatonic, stuff like that, that out of nowhere, it might just actually have been her doing this. So they don't really, it's nice to give you a little bit of taste of that. And the tree that they use, very interesting that they use it kind of like a magic wand style where she has to use a branch of it or some part of it to actually cause the curses or the different spells for her to use to actually be effective. So she combines that with her hair and hair of the victim or something that they own or one of their possessions of some kind, and that weaponizes the person to go after that person for her or whatever she wants. Whatever the intention is. And he is one of the most brutal turns ever here, where he turns directly into a brutal weapon. And Marcus is the principal of the school, who's one of the nicest characters, and you really hope that like he's going to make it through the whole thing. But he has such a tragic fate. She forces him to just brutally destroy his partner and go after Justine, and Josh Brolin has to like help her get away, or she would have gotten killed by him as well. He's running, and there are some very gory parts throughout the movie, but they're brief and they're not used just for no reason. Like, see Marcus, when he gets hit running, you know, he's still going after Justine as a homing missile. You see how horrific it actually is. So it kind of cuts through some of the comedic and wild, like what the heck is going on moments. And I think it's a nice balance because it's not overdone, but the practical effects are done very well. Let us dig into the Mama Zuma's Revenge. This one is habanero, so it should be pretty hot. I'm hoping this one kicks it up a notch. So Alex is the only student who hasn't been possessed and disappeared, and he is actually the nephew of Gladys, or so they say. It's kind of implied that maybe she isn't actually his aunt and she's kind of tricking them or something like that, but they haven't seen her in a long time, and her parents know she's really sick, and they're willing to bring her into their house and like help take care of her. Little do they know that she's actually got this parasitic witch spell that she can do with the tree, and she starts feeding off their life force immediately. All right, wow. Definitely has a nice peppery smell to it. Interesting. All right, well, let's just dig in and see what it's like. Oh wow, that does kick it up a notch. Yeah, that's really hot actually. Nice. I love kettle cooked potato chips. Always got like a nice crunch to them. Thicker, you know, more surface area for the flavor. These definitely have habaneros in them. I'm feeling it. That is burning. Wow, that's nice. So that one, that definitely kicks it up a notch. I'm saying that's like a 6 or a 7. That's rivaling the habaneros that I grew. Just because it's not an entire one, that's probably the only reason I'm not like sweating profusely right now. Yeah, definitely a 7 on these. 7 on the spice scale for the Mama Zuma's Revenge hot habanero potato chips. So Alex, the actor that plays Alex is really good, and Zach Cregger actually said that he was like right on it and he's able to snap in and out of it. So I think that if he keeps acting, he's definitely going to have a nice career in front of him, because you can really tell how empathetic that this character Alex was for the different students around him and everything, and his parents and everyone just in general. So Alex is generally like a nice person, right? And Gladys knows this, and so she possesses his parents and then shows him that she can make them do whatever she wants. She can make them injure themselves. Do I want to make them eat each other? I can.
I can make them eat each other if I want to.
Do I want to make them do it?
Do I want to, Alex?
And it's one of the spookiest scenes that I've ever seen. And she switches from this nice lady right into this evil, like cold witch. You can see the duality right away. You can see her weaponizing Alex's compassion and empathy for his like fellow like kids and parents and just everyone around him. And it's sad to see, but she does a classic mistake. She starts showing him how to actually do that. She says, "Do you see? Are you watching?
Watch. Are you watching?"
And shows him exactly how to use her weapons, which I thought was funny that her being so overzealous about that is what her undoing was, which was interesting because there's a lot of things that they do that are different and new and unique takes on the genre, but then we have the infusion of these things that are very like familiar to horror and supernatural thrillers and stuff like that. So I really love how they fuse both of them. The fact that Gladys weaponizes everything and she's this parasite is also hinted at throughout the movie with different like when they're in the classroom right after Gladys says, Alex, you need to get the different things so that she can possess his classmates, you see them talking about parasites in class.
An example of a parasite. Anyone?
You see on the wall, there's like the different kind of whales that are like the docile whale, then there's the predator whale. So there's hints throughout like the classroom. And then when Marcus has Gladys show up at his door and she's like acting like she needs water and that's how she gets in to be able to possess him. I think she's this funny character and she's really not. You really see she's just this evil witch that's like parasitically controlling everyone. There's a segment about cordyceps on the TV when she comes.
As the parasitic cordyceps continue to feed off its body.
That's disgusting.
And I think that's a great another, hint of the parasitic infection and, leeching off on people and stuff like that to like gain your life force, because that's what cordyceps do. And then they spread their, possession essentially with the spores that release. If you're not familiar, and then that's where the whole Last of Us zombies come from, the idea of that cordyceps fungus jumping over to humans finally. So really interesting parasitic comparisons and the allegories or the comparisons to witchcraft and stuff like that. I don't know if there were specific things, but the symbol they used throughout, triangle symbol, is definitely, that's been connected throughout like witchcraft and stuff, and they use that a lot. So I think that, that's definitely related. I'm not sure exactly in what way, but I like that they give hints of this stuff. He doesn't just like force it all down your throat. They give hints of the lore. And I think it'd be nice to explore even further, which I know they were talking maybe even a prequel or sequel to this. So we'll see. It'd be interesting to see where they take it. But I gotta say, I love the new direction Zach Cregger is taking horror movies in. It's been very interesting. He had an intent with the script, and it was his own personal tragedies he was dealing with. But he leaves it to where like alcoholism can be an allegory for different things, or the loss of the children could be an allegory for different things. It's not necessarily sickness. It can be though. Very cool way to do it without just smacking you in the face with it. And I always like it when they leave it open-ended. And I think Zach Cregger is giving you mystery, like a mystery box type thing, but giving you enough of the details to where it's actually interesting and you want to learn more. And it's mysterious. It was a horror movie, right? But it was comedic and it was kind of more like a mystery thriller with horror elements, black comedy and horror elements, I would say. So it's actually probably one of the funniest movies this year. In the ending scene where Alex finally weaponizes the children against Gladys is one of the funniest scenes and the most cathartic like parts of the movie. You're like, oh, finally. And she freaks out and it's such a funny moment. It's actually, I think a lot of people have commented on how hilarious that moment is, but I think it worked very well because there's some very horrific things going on when you think about it. And having that in there to kind of cut it, but then not fully like lessen the impact. Kind of like you're almost in a dream-like state, but also some of it's reality. You notice that when they're in the dream sequences a few times, and it's like some stuff's real, some stuff is not real. So I think it's interesting. It's like a heightened reality, essentially. I'd say the way that Gladys gets taken out, one of the funniest, most satisfying parts of a horror movie in recent history. And I just love how unique the new approach has been to horror. Still got similar themes. I think, he's obviously inspired by a lot of different horror movies. I think The Shining had a clear reference with like Alex's parents just breaking through the door with their head when they're freaking out and they get triggered, to go after him. One last thing, I love the way that the credit sequence was done. They have the names going up the sides of the symbol that's very much associated with Gladys throughout the triangle. Very unique way to do it. They have them going up and they're staggered. And I like that when they get, interesting with that. It's simple, but it's not over the top, but it keeps it kind of like eerie, kind of spooky, It goes with the theme. So really cool. Really enjoyed the movie. These snacks are definitely good ones to watch with, so I'll probably watch it again when I finish these. And I think I'll definitely do some more movie reviews with some spicy snacks. I like this format, I think. I hope you guys are enjoying spooky season. Happy Halloween, and I will see you guys in the next video.